welcome back to the Don and Gino Real Estate and Finance Show right here in your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS.
And remember, our goal is always to guide you to personal and financial wellness.
Well, thank you for joining us on this fine Saturday for the Don and Gino Real Estate and Finance Show. That's right. For 7.5+ years now, we've shared with you what you need to know, want to know, and should know about real estate, finance, your community, and so much more. And Gino's back by popular demand, and looking forward to a good show today, Gino.
Well, I wanted to remind everybody to go to donandgino.com. That's our hub. That's where you can get to all 7.5 years of shows. Yes, it might take you a little while, at an hour at a time, but if you go to our YouTube channel, you can find all the clips. Everything's divided into 8 to 10 minutes clips, and you can find any of our great professionals. We have tons of great professionals that we've interviewed over the years, financial attorneys,
estate planners, college planners, insurance planners, people of influence in the community,
the mayor, city council people, etc. Basically, a wealth of knowledge, a wealth of people that can help guide you to personal and financial wellness, which is what we set out to do 7.5 years ago.
All right, and they've left us on the air now for over 7 years. Who knows? I mean, Carl and Jerry at first are like, I don't know if you guys are going to make 6 months.
Nevertheless, 6+ years. So, Don and I were just chit-chatting. We're in a interesting market, right? The real estate market's in a little bit of flux. There's a little extra volatility in the stock market. Midterm elections just passed. So, trade wars with China, Trump in the White House. I mean, it's just a weird time.
It is. And everybody out there, well, and the big thing that you're hearing a lot is rising interest rates and the housing market, the next bust.
Oh, my God. Don't they love that?
They do. And
they were able to ride that for like 3 years.
News. They've been riding it for quite a while. Tomorrow it's going to bust. Tomorrow it's going to bust. We've been hearing that for a long time. Meanwhile, home prices have gone up an average of, 6.5% across the nation and almost double digits here in California.
You know who says it's going to bust, it's going to bust, it's going to bust? The person who hasn't bought a home yet.
Because they don't want it to bust.
Yes, if you're listening, you, my friend, you know who you are.
Because if you own a home, you don't want it to
If you own a home, you're like, I don't want it to bust.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't bust. We don't have any of the demographics. We don't have any of the other factors, we'll call them other factors, in the economy that would force us into a bust situation. We don't have sloppy qualifying rules to begin with.
Correct.
Right? They're starting to get a little looser, but when you look at the scale of where it was and where it is, lending guidelines are still very tight overall.
Well, those who qualify actually qualify, and it's law now that we have to have proof of the ability to repay the mortgage.
You have to prove proof of everything.
That's true.
I just completed my own personal refinance this week. It is suicide. It's not easy. If you own a bunch of properties and you got a bunch of companies and a bunch of different stuff, it's complicated. So that barrier is what makes it so that only people that truly should be in the market are in the market.
Well, and that bodes well for, if you're out there and you've heard how difficult it is, or somebody not qualifying, or no, I can't get into a home, then you're probably talking to an online lender that isn't a true professional that has all the available opportunities for you and options. Because, for example, there's this company that has this big, we can say it, Rocket Mortgage. We've all seen it on TV, one of the best marketing companies in the nation when it comes to mortgages. But you realize, I think it's 7% of those that apply through Rocket Mortgage actually get approved. So it's a marketing play to get your info and get their opportunity to give you a different loan potentially, or maybe no loan at all. Whereas we actually gather up all the information up front and go through the plethora of programs we have based on, our combined almost 50 years experience to find the right program and the way to get in the home based on your particular scenario, meaning your assets, your credit, your income, your job, where you want to live, how much you want to put down. All that stuff is a factor.
Yeah, and so let's talk about that. What's become easier has been self-employed loans. If you looked at over the last 5 to 7 years, the thing that was nearly impossible in the beginning, right after the meltdown, was self-employed borrowers because of the way they did their taxes. So over the last few years, a couple things have changed. One is, if you believe in conspiracy theories, if you make it impossible to buy a house without showing that you make money on your taxes, then self-employed people start showing money on their taxes, and it creates tax revenue. Maybe it was a good thing. But now bank statement programs have come back to the market. And so the question is that good or bad? And the reality is it's good. Because
it shows proof that the income's going into the account at least.
I don't want to be the tax police. We're not the IRS. We want to know if you can make the payment or not. So we have it's not quite this easy, but if somebody deposits $140,000 a month into their bank account and has $250,000 in their bank account, irrelevant of how they do their taxes, they could probably make a $5,000 a month mortgage payment on.
Well, that's the idea of it. I mean, before it was stated income, you didn't have any
That
idea.
was ridiculous.
That was just, no, really, I make this much money because of the type of job I have.
That's crazy.
And let's see, that's really not the type of job. You just changed the names of what it is. But now people do qualify. So the moral of the story for this last half of this first segment is that the market's still good. You're going to hear a lot of negative press about the next housing bubble because the market is transitioning from an overheated market where we've had pent demand for 10 years. 10 years and no homes being built, and 10 years and nobody being able to buy a home, and people losing homes. Now we had all these people like, finally I have a job, I feel comfortable at the economy, I want to buy a home. Well, considering there weren't any homes being built for 10 years, people are still having babies, we did not have enough homes. So it was an overheated market. Now we're transitioning to what it was we haven't seen in 2 decades called a normal market.
All right, Furman, make sure you put this one on the YouTube tags. But this is not fake news, but we do have fake inventory. So let's talk about that for a minute, because one of the things that I've noticed is the same houses have been on the market for 3 months. There is not any new inventory coming on the market, because if you put a brand new home on the market and it's priced right and it looks clean, it's going to go. It's going to go fast, because the homes that you're seeing that are sitting is the fake inventory. They were overpriced to begin with. They're chasing the market down. They've been on the market for a long time. The agent and the seller are in this struggle of, you told me you were going to sell it for this much and now you can't sell it for that much. And so those homes are toxic to a certain extent. You put a brand new home on the market, it's going to go like this if it's priced right. So we have a lot of fake inventory. So even the inventory numbers, if you're only looking at inventory, they're going to give you a head fake.
Yeah, because they're going to be. Now, on the other hand, the good news for buyers that were frustrated, believe me, we work with buyers as we do as home loan lenders. And we had a lot of clients that were frustrated because, one, it was hard to find a home, find the right home. If you did, the home was swept up like nothing because you needed to be in. You really needed to know the right real estate agent that knew about the inventory before it even hit the market. And luckily, we work with those people, by the way. And we get you pre-approved ahead of time so that if you have multiple offers, it's key of who your lender is, believe it or not, especially in this small town of Santa Clarita, because the listing agent has an option to go for their seller, not because of a relationship with us. They tell the seller, hey, out of these 4 offers, I know the Skyline Home Loans, soon to be Finance America, always gets the job done. You can trust them. And it's the goal of a listing agent is to sell the home and sell the home on time, and that's why you work with the right lender. So our offers got accepted over others, so that did give you a distinct advantage.
Yeah, the other thing I want to talk about is if you needed alternate lending, you needed 45 days to close an escrow. If you had to do a bank statement program, if you had to do asset dissipation loans, if you had to do any non-QM lending, as we call it, you needed a little bit more time, and sellers weren't willing to give you the time. Oh, right now you could get time, you could get a credit, whatever you'd like, Mr. Buyer. So not whatever you'd like, but it's a negotiation, and there's a little bit of room for an extra 15 days. There's a little bit of room for negotiations, maybe a little seller credit to buy down your interest rate. So take advantage of that if you weren't the perfect borrower. If you didn't have 30% down, 800 FICO, if you didn't have the things in that very competitive market, now you probably look pretty good on paper. Hey, even if you need down payment assistance, you need an extra couple days, you need a little bit of a credit, no problem. That's what we're seeing out in the market.
Yeah, and it's a good thing. So it's good for both because home prices are still going up, by the way. Yep. Appreciation levels just announced last month actually went up from the prior month. It was 5.4% nationwide, and went to 5.5%.
Well, let's talk about that because they had said the month before that it dropped and it was, woe's me,
oh, yeah.
sky is falling.
Oh, I guarantee if you pulled back our video, you go, oh, you guys said it's a blip. It always happens this time of the year. After the overheated, we always have a hot spring through summer, and then it dies down right when school starts.
School starts. And we identified that school starting is a 2 to 3 week process in which people freeze. And you say, how could that possibly be? Think about that. You at least go for a 1 week vacation right before kids go back to school. And you started planning on that vacation 3 to 5 days before that. And then when you come back, you're so busy at work, that's another 3 to 5 days that there's no way you're shopping for a home in that 3 week period of time. So fast forward 30 days later, Less
All
purchases.
right, let's close this segment with this. A lot of you that were frustrated and possibly want to buy, believe it or not, you can get in with 0 down vets, 3% down, 3.5% down, 5, 10%. There's so many options out there for you. You need to look at what your options are because a lot of you are like, man, I'm frustrated. How about getting into a new home during a perfect time when sellers are going to negotiate for you? You have less competition and allow you to get into your home for the holidays.
That's right. You can still sneak in before the holidays.
This is a great time. Nothing like having your brand new home for either, Christmas, Hanukkah, or New Year's. There's nothing like it. And this is a perfect time to buy. The inventory is up. Rates are not actually. I mean, we had these rates just so you know 4 years ago.
Yep.
So they're not. The rates are gone up. The rates are still great. Home prices are good. Time to get into a home. You heard right here. And when we come back, we have Jim Reeve coming on, one of the top divorce attorneys in town. You're going, well, what do I need about that? I don't know about you, but I don't know of anybody that doesn't know somebody who's going through a divorce, unfortunately.
True, unfortunately, yeah.
And let's hope it's not you. All right, stay tuned. A lot of great stuff coming up on the Don and Gino Real Estate and Finance Show. Find out more at donandgino.com.